Developing this hour, Electoral Commission summons political parties to emergency IPAC meeting over recollation and declaration of some disputed parliamentary election results. We're live there for you this afternoon.
Also this hour, Education Minister Dr. Yao Educhum says results for the 2024 West African Senior High School certificate examination will be released before end of December, despite outstanding amounts owed.
A lot later, outgoing New Patriotic Party commences processes to reform and re-strategize for future elections as it announces plans to begin a probe into the party's disappointing performance in the just-ended general elections. It's the eve to Christmas. Hello there, welcome to News Central. I am Mawin Aigbeta.
And I am Kamini Amano. News Central starts right now. Our national chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Stephen Ayensu team, on Monday announced that the party will establish a committee in January to look into the NPP's performance in the just-ended presidential and parliamentary elections. He stated that the findings of the committee would lead to reforms and changes crucial in restructuring the party as it turns or returns to opposition after 8 years in government.
The months of January 2025 set up an effective and objective election review committee to undertake a post-mortem into the outcome of the election. The committee will engage all party stakeholders and the general public on the factors and circumstances leading to our defeat. We have a firm belief that the work of the election review committee will enable our people to express their concerns and to bring out suggestions and reforms, changes, and other critical issues necessary to restructuring our party. One critical area that must occupy the attention of the election review committee is the possible need for constitutional amendments and the restructuring of the party's internal decision-making processes, particularly on the mode of electing presidential, parliamentary candidates, and party executives, among.
Let's have a quick chat on the back of this. Joining us now is political marketing strategist and senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, Professor Kobi Mensah. Prof, good afternoon to you. Crucial exercise the NPP plans to, indulge in, isn't it?
Good afternoon to you. I think that it's a very far-reaching, exercise. Listening to the executive of the party speak about, a certain restructuring of the political party down to the constitution. I think that it's a very good, a call. Why? Because I feel that the NPP, as we know it, has actually sort of deviated from its core principles and its core brand identity. If you recall, most of us growing up in 1992, the NPP was actually seen as that kind of brand that actually embraces intellectuality. All right. Of course, you could actually argue that, of course, every political party does that. But that is what, they actually used as their, what you call the strapline, or the kind of identity that people actually know. You would ask yourself today whether the NPP really represent that particular values, that particular virtues, that particular principle. I think that it has actually deviated. The kind of people that they have in leadership do not actually reflect on that particular brand, values, or the brand, identity. So I think that the far-reaching exercise that they're talking about is in the right direction.
I see. And in order for them to get back to who they truly are, they would have to, get back those values. I want us to talk about three important things that this investigation or steps that the NPP will have to take to get back to those values.
Yes, first of all, they need to have a very strong introspection about the party's core identities. What are the key structures or the building blocks that actually define the MPP? They need to have that particular conversation within the party. They have to go to the people, and also, secondly, go to the people to find out what do they think MPP represent, and what should MPP represent in a modern political market Ghana, for example. They need to get that insight. And then, of course, they need to look at the whole gamut of the strategy to the communication. I think that increasingly the Ghanaian political parties are thinking that strategy means lies, strategy means disruption, strategy means doing something that could actually get your opponent up. But that's, I'm afraid, a very terrible idea, because you see, political parties are instruments for national leadership. If you look at the leadership of a country, they could only be groomed by political parties. Of course, you have business leaders, you have religious leaders. Only political parties have the machinery, the engine to grow the leadership of a country. And so if you do not have a manpower that actually has a very positive thinking and could only decipher or think about strategy as negativities and lies, I'm afraid the country is doomed. So they have to go back to these building blocks, internal introspection about who they think the party is, what do the people think the party is, and its relevance in modern political market Ghana. And then, of course, in terms of its strategic thinking, what should be our core principles, strategies guiding the party? If they can do this, they can renew the party and get it back to what people expect it to do.
The founding members of the party, leading members of the party, who over the last 8 years have felt alienated from it.
Very, very significant. I mean, we all know people like, and when I say we all, those of us of my generation, people like Apraku, people like J.H. Mensah, people like Obeche Bilamte, people like Nanado himself, they represented a certain aspiration for Ghanaian youth. And that's why in those days, of course, the NDC had been in power for so long, and we had actually grown to see them. So we didn't really understand the ideological footing of the NDC apart from what we saw at the time. Of course, over the years, we had come to appreciate the two political parties, and people like myself have started finding our ideological core, all right? And so you need to reflect on some of these principles that made the MPP what it used to be and what people saw it to be. By bringing in these kind of personalities to be able to tell you, the party's core basis and then the party's values going forward. And then you use that to guide, your changes, going forward. So I think it's very, very important that they go back to these, early days, MPP, authorities or MPP officials. Of course, you have President Kufuor, for example, still there. You need to get that basis right, and then, of course, let it guide you going forward.
Finally, the flip side of that will be calls from some quarters about an overhaul of the current executives. There are those who believe that they should be fired from their jobs. What are your thoughts about it as far as its impact is concerned?
I suppose that would be undemocratic. I mean, they didn't actually assume power by appointment. They assumed power through elections. Of course, those that did not assume power by elections, you can fire them. But those who were actually put forward by the voting bloc, i.e. the delegate, you cannot fire them. You have to let them go back to the people for vote. By firing means the delegate should vote them out. Of course, you could actually argue that they didn't do the right word, but the right thing. But of course, that must be guided by the Constitution. I feel that the quality of people that you have is as a result of the Constitution that you have. I think the political party's Constitution that we have is very ill thought out. You couldn't actually put power in the hands of who becomes the leader of the political party in terms of the presidential candidate. That shouldn't be the leader of the political party. There must be a leader of a political party through whom the flag bearer is appointed or is actually voted for. And that leader of the political party can actually have a word or have a certain authority over the presidential candidate if they're not doing things right. Unfortunately, we have actually packed all the power into the hands of who becomes the flag bearer, and they dictate how the party should be run. We cannot fault them. And so I think that, yes, it has to be back to the Constitution. Make sure that we can rework the Constitution in a manner that the party would hold the power, and then obviously be able to, guide the presidential candidate. I think it will be in the right direction to do that. Because as we speak, the quality of the MPP leadership is nowhere near what we used to have. I mean, we used to listen to the 1996 parliamentary debate. You would love J.H. Mensah. Nobody would actually say that didn't love J.H. Mensah's argument. And Ado himself was a consummate, parliamentarian that actually brought a lot of people into loving the MPP. Now, it has been swapped because the MPP had been very personality-centered in a manner that you do not even see the collectivity of the MPP as we used to do.
Very well.
Now, you can talk about the NDC in that particular light, and that's why the NDC brand is much more appealing.
Very well, Prof. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
Mensah is a political marketing strategist.
And we're switching focus, but still on politics, because some supporters of the National Democratic Congress in the Utusenya East constituency have seized vehicles belonging to a constituency vice chair of the New Patriotic Party. The NDC supporters stormed a garage belonging to the vice chairman, accusing him of stealing and selling state-owned vehicles. Personnel from the Central East Regional Police Command, however, intervened and had all the 8 vehicles driven to the police station for further investigation. Correspondent Akwesiado, he has a bit more on this particular story. He's joining us right now via Zoom. Akwesi, first, give us the background to the story and the state of the vehicles as we speak.
Okay, so 9 vehicles in total, but one a Toyota Prado without engine, and so could not be driven to the Central East Regional Police Headquarters here in Kaswa. So currently we have 8 of the vehicles parked at the Central East Regional Police Headquarters, and then the police have begun investigations into how the NPP Vice Chairman, Mr. Daniel Kofi Amofa, secured these vehicles. So yesterday in the afternoon, we had a number of NDC supporters invade the garage making allegations that the chairman did not properly secure those vehicles. And they, according to them, had cause to believe that he had actually acquired these state vehicles and was putting them on sale. But the vice chairman has been arguing that he's been in the automobile dealership for over 18 years and properly acquired the vehicles through due processes. And so he did same for these vehicles that are in his possession. And so yesterday at around 10 p.m. when he told me that he was still gathering his documents to submit same to the police for the purpose of investigations.
Kwesi, just before we listen to him, I want to find out if these supporters of the NDC had any documentation whatsoever to back their claims that these were state vehicles which had been taken over by this NPP vice chair.
Okay, so as a matter of fact, yesterday in the afternoon, when I engaged some of them about why they invaded someone's business, what they told me was that they have been doing background investigations and have realized that there are several spots in Kaswa where state vehicles are allegedly being held by some NPP officers. But they did not show to me any single document to prove that, yes, these vehicles actually did belong to government. But for the vice chairman, he agrees and he accepts that some of these vehicles belonged to state institutions. But by then, the institutions put them up for sale through auction, and that he procured the vehicles from auctioneers, repaired those that were damaged, and then he is putting them on sale for the purpose of business.
All right, let's take a listen to the vice chair who you've been interacting with and his explanations.
I say a bank cars, but yeah, auction cars. And I mean, to me, NDC time crown would tell me. Me ton cars and NDC time auction be a bit me to be my near tom. side MVP time so auction cars normal idea yeton na wu obi no so to kwa de ma me ton cars na me ton na me so ma ye ho adwuma woto a ebu okra ni good shape ebu okra beto engine kra ni me an ma to engine asibim ebu a basa bi kra accident cars amato a masiesie entinye sebe me timi ko fa bankers na ba bia me so me ye adwuma no how am city me nye kronfo makwa ko fa banka on auction ye se me ba beton dabi adwuma me ton cars enti obi ebi basa me hwe se bibia ye okay ansa na man de mato na mso masiesie na mato cars ye mu sesi wasa no se me yi no old pictures di picture wa you no believe it but there ya kra se car ni bi wo kra na enye government auction car ebi kra ye embassy car embassy so ya ban dia.
The NPP vice chair essentially making the argument that he deals in cars and makes it a point to always ensure that the right documentation is done before he procures the vehicles, and that some of the vehicles even are not from the state but were purchased via auction from embassies and high commissions and the likes. Akwesi is still with us. Akwesi, just finally on the leg of the police, what have they been saying in relation to this and the investigation they are expected to be undertaken and the protection perhaps they should be offering this man who's come under this attack?
Okay, so yesterday, the operations commander for the Central East Regional Police Commander, Mr. Zhao himself, when the whole event unfolded. And then he was part of the team that ensured that these vehicles were driven to the police headquarters. And yesterday, he assured that they would try their possible best to investigate into the matter and that they were waiting on the NPP Vice Chairman, Mr. Daniel Kofi Amofa, to submit all relevant documents covering the vehicles to the police so that they can take up from there.
Right then, Akwesi, many thanks for those details. That's Akwesi Addo, is my colleague in the Central Region for us, with latest details on the clampdown, allegedly, of NDC supporters on what they believe to be sale of state assets. But a bit more politics for you this hour.
Indeed. Leader and founder of the New Force movement, Nana Kwame Bediako, says he is willing to collaborate with the next administration to deliver prosperity to the Ghanaian people. At a news conference, Nana Kwame Bediako maintained that a unity government is what is required to develop this country.
I think that our president-elect is showing a great sign of unity, and that's what I would have also done if I had the chance. We are separated in many ways, parties and colors of parties, and it's made the agenda for the country separated as well. So when I look at the history of maybe Alan Tremartin and now also trying to add what he can to the country for us to go forward, I think it's a good thing. I would love for the fact that we all come together and then build one nation, build one country, and create jobs that we don't have. It doesn't really take one party or one group to find the solutions to all our problems, but it takes great minds to come together without hate, jealousy, selfishness, and having total concentration and focus of what we need to do. It wouldn't just be about funds that I will invest, but it would also be about my time, my energy, my mind, and my wisdom, my knowledge, my experience, that I'm willing to contribute to this country for the growth and for the betterment of this country.
It's still the Christmas Eve edition of NewsCentral live on TV3. We'll be right back with more news. Don't go away.
You're welcome back to NewsCentral. To education now, because it's been quite a topical subject area since last week, concerns about release of WASSCE results. Well, the Education Minister, Dr. Yawase Duchum, says despite the delay in payment of debts owed WAEC, the results for the 2024 West African Senior School Certificate Examination WASSCE candidates will be released by the 29th of this month. The minister earlier this morning told the offices of the West African Examination Council, where he shied away from responding to questions from journalists about how soon the ministry would release critical funding to WAEC to enable the council process the release of the WASSCE results. George Quenin is joining us with a bit more. He was there, followed the minister all through. Let's try and get details from George as to really what transpired. George, walk us through his visit and what really transpired.
Thank you, Marina. So today, the minister was there around 9, and it was actually unannounced. So workers of WAEC didn't have any clue of it coming. And so he had to go through some of these offices where, operations were being held. And for me, my issue is if we post something to you. So the government owes like 180 million Ghana cedis, and they pay 25 million cedis. The reason officials have to, resume whatever work to ensure that these results are released on the 29th, as said by the minister. So if journalists are actually giving you this figure and you claim it's not true, let's know the exact figure then. So for me, I feel the minister, with this very posture, it actually begs more questions than answers. And moving forward, we just hope that outstanding areas are paid to ensure that operations at WAEC is very smooth. And it's actually good news for parents and wards that on the 29th, their children will be going back to school. But the exact date where these children will be going to these special schools, the minister was able to tell
George, the minister shied away, but were there any comments, because now we're getting a date of the 29th where results, did he say anything briefly to you as journalists? Did you get a word from WAEC as well with regards to the visit by the minister?
So WAEC officials did not want to talk to us. And like the video, I don't know if you played the video, but if you watch the video, I think it was quite skeptical with his comments. It's like, this is why we are here. Just ask this question, that's it. If you go beyond certain questions, I'm not ready to answer you. I didn't post questions about Chastity, he was not ready to answer. And when the exact date that he should not be going back, he was not able to answer these questions. And I think it's quite a serious issue, Marina.
Right. Let's try and take a listen or a sneak peek as to what really George is trying to explain to us with regards that interaction with the Education Minister.
However, I came to apprise myself of development in terms of the fact that they are working now through the holidays to get the results out on or before 29th of this month. So I came and I saw the workers scanning is being done. Close to 50% is done. They assure me by the end of the day over 50% of scanning will be completed. On or about 29th of this month, the results will come out. So I'm very satisfied.
We know they were having some little challenges with funds initially. Do you think that the delay of the funds may affect the speed at which they
28th, 29th results will be out. We're on the same page with them.
Okay.
All right.
But the 35 million, will it come? You owe them at least more than 100 million cedis.
Excuse me, you don't have the facts.
Okay.
So it's important that you get the facts before you confuse the public. Thank you.
So how much do you owe?
Right. And so what? The minister saying that journalists did not have the facts with respect to how much they owe. Well, that figure is still not 118 million cedis because we were told that 25 million cedis was disbursed. And yesterday we got word as well again that another 25 million cedis had been disbursed. And so that 118 million cedis figure will drop to we'll work the math for you. But George is still with us. George, was there a general satisfaction by officials of WAEC following the visit by the minister?
If we talk about satisfaction, I'm sure that will be on the part of the minister because 29th is just 4 days away, right? And so if 50% of the work has been done, then the timeline is quite feasible. And he was also impressed about the fact that some of these officials have to forfeit their holidays and ensure that these results are released on time, Marina.
Right then, George, thank you very much for those details. That's my colleague George Queenin, who was at the the offices of the West African Examination Council, who were owed 118 million cedis. That amount has been slashed down by 50 million cedis, because the ministry says it's made releases up to 50 million cedis. The first was 25 million, which Mr. Kapi described as woefully inadequate. Yesterday, we got word from the public relations officer of the ministry again that another 25 million had been disbursed. And so we will see the 29th if WAEC is able to respond. But perhaps we should as well be getting a bit more from the West African Examination Council's John Kapi, really, as to whether or not these latest assurances from the education minister suffices, and for parents watching at home, students watching at home who wrote the WASI, and for universities as well awaiting admission, if this suffices for the generality of the progress of work that is expected to be done. But let's bring you a bit more stories right now.
The Kintampo waterfall in recent times has been in a challenging position as bushfires threaten the security of visitors. Managers of the tourist site are calling for urgent attention to help curb the menace as the Christmas activities approach. Belinda Tete is a Bono East region correspondent who's been speaking to management of the waterfall. She joins us with a bit more on this. Belinda, well, before we talk to Belinda, let's take a look at how events play out in or at the Kintampo waterfall. Well, now we can take a listen to some visitors of the Kintampo waterfall, where management are worried for the safety of these visitors because of incessant bushfires that around the neighborhood of the waterfall. They are asking for urgent assistance to curb these bushfires, especially with the Christmas around the corner. Remember, it's Christmas Eve. Revelers will be traveling across the country to mark the holiday. Let's take a listen to these visitors.
If they have something like a guest house or something like that, so that if someone comes from a long journey and then the person is tired, they can sleep here.
They don't have the capacity or the average seat. Yeah, they don't have seat for people to sit. So when you came inside or when you came inside, you just stand there till someone will come and introduce here to you. So that's one there. It's really bad. Yeah. Okay, I suggest they should add more furniture and they should add more things to here, so that here will be one of the best in this Ghana or in this like West Africa.
Them to bring maybe a lifter here, a lifter. Before you get there, you get a lifter, it just come easy, and it can go out easy too. Like you come easy and go easy too. But though the steps to is also exercise as well. When you are going is exercise, when you are coming to exercise. But others do find it difficult to go and come to.
Well, it seems the revelers have much more to worry about than the bushfire. Belinda Tete is our Bono East correspondent. She's been covering the story. She's joining us now for a bit more on the situation at the Kintampo waterfall. Belinda, good afternoon to you. What more can you tell us about the threat of bushfires around the waterfall? Oh, it would appear that Belinda is unable to connect with us. We'll rework the lines and get her back. But that's a story from the Kintampo waterfall. The managers of the waterfall are worried that, listen, with the holidays in motion, revelers traveling from different parts of the country going there, they are worried for the safety of these people because of the bushfires that occur in recent times over there. But we can connect to Belinda again. Belinda, what more can you tell us about the situation? Hello, Belinda, if you can hear me. I'm asking you to tell us a bit more about the threat of bushfires around the Kintampo waterfall. Oh, it appears Belinda cannot hear us. How about we take a trip down to Kumasi, where it's that time of the year, we all know that. Most people are traveling to their homes to enjoy the festive season with family and friends. I wonder what you're doing out watching NewsCentral, of course. But let's cross over to our correspondent now, Ibrahim Abubakar. He's been visiting some terminals to gauge the situation there. Ibrahim, good afternoon to you. What can you report?
Last year in Kumasi, in fact, we started seeing the long queue since last week, Thursday, Friday, over the weekends till today. But today's one is a bit serious because apparently most workers are breaking for the Christmas holiday today. So from morning, there are people who have been at the lorry terminal since morning, and as we speak, they've not been able to get a vehicle to their various destinations. In fact, the prediction to even is that in the coming hours, it will even be worse because most people are breaking around 12 a.m. So a lot more people at the lorry terminals, even in towns. You can find more people in town doing their Christmas shopping. But what city authorities have put in place is to ensure that they have increased police visibility even along our major roads and also in town, so that people will feel safe when they come to town and do their shopping. But at the terminals, I earlier engaged with some of the travelers who expressed why they want to travel and how they assess this whole situation of the long queues and so on and so forth. Let's take a listen to what they've been sharing with.
Hassle, but the traffic and everything here is just a lot. It's Christmas though, so you understand why. You know, people come out of nowhere when Christmas, they get busy over here, so it's normal for us.
The Christmas, I mean, for 3 days, and I'll be back to work.
So are you coming to see a queue here?
Well, it's expected. Yes, because normally during festivities we have long queues. Even today, I think it's better.
Obi man so ya wo for breast and afina so ese okona ukofia busuafo interest you any nam am I frustrated pa other than me frustrated because say we are so there boy and ese so agina ase a ba o me say me frustrated.
Ibrahim, I can only imagine how busy Kumasi is at the moment, but you were there. Tell us the mood in Kumasi for the Christmas.
Well, the Christmas mood has set in. When you walk around town, you can even feel it. People going about doing their shopping, others in their Christmas. People have even started wearing the Christmas attire. You go to institutions, they have nicely decorated those places. So people have now put the politics behind them. We are done. They are now into the Christmas mood, and they are hoping to enjoy it to the fullest. Like I said, they have intensified visibility so that people will feel safe to do their shopping, and also along our major roads so that we will be able to reduce road carnages, especially in this festive season.
Very well, Ibrahim, thank you so much for talking to us. Ibrahim Abubakar is a Ashanti region correspondent. He tells us that, listen, people are traveling in and outside of the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, because of the holidays. I wonder where you're watching us from. Share your experience with us on our social streams.
And we're taking you to the Volta region to gauge that same mood and feeling right now. An update on travel arrangements and how things are shaping up across the major markets ahead of the Christmas. Tomorrow, Faisal Abdul Idrisu is my colleague. He's joining us from Petoi, an interesting place to be at for Christmas. Faisal, talk to us about the Petoi township and how it's looking like the Volta region generally in terms of the look and feel for Christmas.
So, we're just a few hours to the main Christmas day. Starting from Friday, you get to the bus terminals and you see a lot of people massing up at the terminals, particularly students who were given a Christmas break to travel back home to meet their friends and families for the celebration. And because the number of vehicles at the bus terminals are not enough, they have had to wait for long hours before they are able to catch the next available bus to travel home. Even this morning, when I visited the STC yard in Ko, there were a lot of people who were waiting for hours and could not really get a bus available to travel home. As at news time a few minutes ago, there were still numbers at the various terminals, the whole main lorry station, and also the STC yard, hoping that the next available bus is given to them so they can travel home. And so that is what it is in terms of the traveling arrangement across the major market centers. And because tomorrow is Christmas, even markets that are not supposed to be operating today are operating just so that people can be able to purchase some few food items ahead of tomorrow. I left the Kwete market a few minutes ago where traders are telling me that even though tomorrow is Christmas, the expectation that markets, there will be a boost in buying and sale. It's not really the case for them. They are, however, optimistic that later in the evening, a lot more people may troop into the market centers to pick at least an item for tomorrow. A lot of people are buying rice, cooking oil, among others, and so the expectation is that later this evening maybe things may change, even though what is currently happening is not what they really expect. Do not also forget that the Volta region is a major tourist destination for many revelers.
Right.
And so there is a lot of preparation as far as the tourist centers are concerned. A lot in terms of security. You see a lot of police officers across the major centers and along our roads. That is to indicate the fact that the police administration told us days back that they were going to put in a lot of arrangements to ensure that people are protected, particularly when during this time there is that surge in petty theft among others. So they want to be sure that people are protected, particularly those who are also traveling into the region to get that safety. And so it is not looking like a normal day tomorrow. You go across the centers and you see that kind of enthusiasm, even though on the front of economics, buying and selling, things are a bit slow. There is enough indication that Christmas is just tomorrow, so there are preparations ahead of tomorrow.
Then Faisal, thank you for that succinct detail from the Volta region. And from the Volta region, we'll bring you back to the capital, Accra, because hundreds of individuals are stranded at bus terminals seeking to travel to their various places of destination to celebrate Christmas with their families. Gordon Asidiba is my colleague who's stationed here in the heart of the capital, seeking to gauge the mood and the experiences of travelers. Gordon, talk to us as to exactly what it is that you're seeing.
I am just around Kimbu, a very busy place, especially when it gets to the festive season. Due to the traffic, a lot of people will have to resort to using motorcycles or Okada, just as you can see me doing. And this is to ensure that I will be able to maneuver my way through to give you the excellent report and get to show you some of the things that people will have to go through to ensure that they are not only buying stuff for the festive season, but they are also traveling to their various destinations to ensure that they will get to connect with their families again who are in their villages, so that they will be able to have a memorable celebration. The traffic is just quite thick around the Kimbu area. Earlier, I was at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, where we had quite a number of people traveling all the way to Nkoko, to the Ashanti region, Kumasi, and also to Obuasi as well. They find this time very interesting and also a loving moment just for them to be able to connect with their families. And just as I am protected in my helmet as well, I am moving through the traffic just to be able to get to some travelers who are also getting ready to head to Ho to connect with their families, just to be able to have a memorable celebration and get to connect with them as well. I'm sure you can clearly see that quite a number of people are also seen around trying to buy one or two things together. At this point, I will just park and move on to some of the vehicles so that we can be able to connect and also have an interesting interaction with people, some who have come here to shop and others who are traveling all the way to their various places, especially where most of them are from, so that they will be able to have a memorable festive season. Quite a number of cars have been stuck in traffic for close to about 30 minutes since I got in here, and for each vehicle to be able to move for another one to come, it is just quite a hurdle in here, not just for the drivers, but also for most of the passengers and people who are hoping to get to their various destinations as soon as possible. Just so you know, we are live from Kimbu, just around Accra. This stretch leads to Mokola, to Tudu, and to quite a number of places where a number of people will come in here to shop so that they will be able to either prepare that special delicacy that they will be putting in place for their family members. Let me just try and engage this man who is in the car, young man Michael. You're live on TV3, so mutu kwanya ko infa. Right, so he wouldn't engage us. Good afternoon, sir. We are live on TV3. We want to know where you are traveling to and how the festive season means to you.
We're going to Nigeria.
You are going to where?
Nigeria.
Nigeria?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So how long have you been in Ghana?
I'm a Ghanaian, actually.
You are Ghanaian?
Half Ghanaian, half Nigerian.
So why are you going to Nigeria this time around?
I'm going to see a few people that are there.
Okay.
So
how long have you been in Ghana, and what does this season mean to you?
This season is more like any other season.
Right.
Yeah, and I've been in Ghana for more than 18 years now. Apart from going on and off, like going and coming, I've been in Ghana for more than 18 years now.
Right. So it's not just about the local travel. Quite a number of people are also traveling all the way to Nigeria. So this will tell you what this season in particular means to quite a lot of people. And you can see that quite a number of buses and cars are also leaving the various terminals to their various destinations. And just like I indicated earlier when we spoke to quite a number of people who were traveling all the way to Nkoko and Obuase, they've made mention of the fact that they've been in the capital, worked so hard to make some money for their mothers, grandmothers, and also extended family members. So this is the only period where they will be able to get to connect with them. Also, when you visit the various bus terminals, you will see that they are receiving quite a number of passengers. And according to some of the leaders there, it started from the 20th of December up until now. Some even can wait until evening where they are unable to get vehicles to be able to travel to wherever they will be going to. But at this point, where it is just barely few hours to the D-Day for the festive season, we still see a lot of people shopping in here, bringing their stuff in here so that they will be able to put them in their various vehicles and also be able to head to their various destinations. So we'll still move on to speak to quite a number of people to know what this day means to them. You're live on TV3. What's your name?
My name is Kevin.
Right, I can see you are helping quite a number of people pack their stuff in here. Are you traveling as well?
Yeah, I'm traveling.
Where are you heading?
Benin.
You are heading to Benin. How long have you been in Ghana?
Almost 16 years.
16 years. And have you been to Benin before, or this is the first time?
No. I'm going to come back.
You go and come back. Why did you decide to go this time around?
I'm going to celebrate the December with my people. That's why I'm going.
So you're looking at connecting with family?
Yes.
What will you be doing on Christmas Day?
Happiness.
Happiness?
Yes.
And enjoyment?
And also.
Absolutely. It's been nice talking to you. Right, so just like you heard from him as well, he's looking at reconnecting with his family just to have a memorable moment and get to feel and touch their family members again. It means a lot to all humans, if I should say, because we know when it gets to the Christmas season, it's all about love, it's all about giving, and it's all about acceptance as well. My name is Godwin Asidiba, and this is the situation here at Kimbu, just in Accra at the Central Business District, and I have been reporting live. See you soon.
Then, Godwin Asidiba, as always, with a bit of a touch of panache in the work that he's doing. But he's my colleague in Kimbu right now, gauging the mood ahead of Christmas. Today is Christmas Eve. We're going for yet another break. When we return, a bit on elections for you, an inter-party advisory committee meeting. As to whether or not that is happening, we'll bring you the details shortly. Stay with us.
That IPAC meeting the Electoral Commission called to have taken place at noon today has now been called off. Crosby Annan is our correspondent on the ground. Let's learn why that is the case. Crosby, good afternoon to you. Do we know why the meeting will no longer hold?
Good afternoon to you too, but unfortunately we do not know why this IPAC meeting, which was originally scheduled at noon today, did not hold. Now we got the contact meeting will happen at noon today. It was corroborated by the Director of Elections of the NDC, Dr. Omane Boamah, indeed in a Facebook post. But upon reaching here, we got to know that the IPAC meeting has been cancelled. We did not sign a political party representative. Usually at these meetings, you find 2 reps from all the political parties. None of them was around, maybe because they got wind that the meeting will not hold. So the IPAC meeting was cancelled. However, we also got information that the Commission will be meeting the media or a press engagement at 1 p.m. That is an hour after the IPAC meeting, which did not hold. So at the moment, that is what we're waiting for. In a few minutes, it will be 1 o'clock. Hopefully, the press engagement with the Electoral Commission starts on time. And we expect a lot of the issues that have dominated discussions over the past couple of days. We're talking about the recollating exercises and the matters arising, the positions taken by the NDC that they will not, if you like, respect the recollated numbers and the new members of parliament that have been declared for these 7 constituencies, but the 2 constituencies. I'm talking about Domi Kwabinya and Abdul. The Commission is also hopefully expected to answer questions as to the way forward of these 2 constituencies and what's going forward, the entire position of the Commission will be in relation to these other recollated constituencies, bearing in mind the position taken by the National Democratic Congress. So these are amongst some of the issues that we hope the Commission will discuss or open up for the media to ask questions about and provide answers to since the IPAC meeting did not hold, Emily.
Very well, Crosby. We'll leave you to it now. Thank you so much for the reporting. Crosby Annan is at the Electoral Commission's head office, where an expected engagement between the media and the Electoral Commission is to take place.
Well, still on the Commission, they've justified the decision to recollect results in some contested constituencies during the December 7 general election. The EC, following a court ruling on Friday, recollated results in 7 constituencies, including Tema Central and Okaikwe Central, and redeclared the NPP parliamentary candidates as winners. Deputy EC Chair Bosman Osare, in an interview or exclusive with my colleague Beatrice Edu for Agenda, has been explaining why.
We are very hopeful that we'll get it done way before.
Doc, are you able to tell us which part of the CI 127, the constitutional instrument you used for this year's general election, it was the same you used in 2020? Where in that CI that permits the Electoral Commission to recollate results and redeclare winners of parliamentary elections after they've already been declared in the constituencies?
The Constitution, Article 45, says that of all the institutions in Ghana, it's only the Electoral Commission of Ghana which is mandated to conduct and supervise. And when you are supervising the process, if the process doesn't go well, you raise issues and you address the processes. Apart from that, we have CI 127. CI 127 Regulation 43. It provides that when you are doing collation, each candidate is supposed to have 2 agents at the collation center. So anytime there are encroachers at the collation center, it undermines what the law says. Apart from Regulation 43, Regulation 48 also talks about even when agents are not present, the collation can still take place. And the 43 I mentioned, it provides some steps to be followed when you are doing the collation. So once those steps are not followed, and you have an instance whereby somebody is compelled against his or her will or under duress to declare somebody a winner, that is not acceptable as far as the Commission is concerned.
So that is the word of the Electoral Commission saying that your officers there were under duress?
No, it's not the word of the Electoral Commission. It's the word of our officers.
Your officers claimed that they were under duress?
You said they claimed.
Yes.
No,
that's what
they
you're
said
saying.
they were under duress.
Let's take it step by step, Doc. You still haven't answered the question of which part of the allows the Electoral Commission to recollect results of constituencies and to redeclare.
I think I mentioned, let me come back. I said CI 127, Regulation 43. It provides the framework for collation. So any collation that does not follow that process is unacceptable.
And I will read that very briefly. It says that the returning officer ensures figures from polling stations are corrected and tallied. But then it goes on
read
to
that
say...
The returning officer ensures what?
The returning officer ensures the figures from all polling stations are correctly tallied. Once verified and accepted, a returning officer completes the constituency collation form and declares result. Now, you declare the total number, valid, rejected, and all of that, after which, and there's a part of it where it says that when there is a problem or there's a contestation, the EC may recount at that instant. But it didn't say that after there has been, for instance, after you've passed that stage and you have declared the winner.
What you just read, you said the returning officer must put together all the polling station results.
Yes, but I'm arriving at a result. I'm just saying that after you have declared the winner, I didn't see anything in the CI that said that after declaration is done, you go back and say that because there were these previous challenges, we are going to redeclare winner.
No, let me say this. We have officers, returning officers for each constituency. The same people who declared the results you are claiming they declared said no, that's not what transpired. And that at a gunpoint, at a knife point, I was compelled to declare a winner who didn't win.
Our cameras were there. I don't remember we reported that they put knives and guns
did you watch the
to what you...
Right, and so Dr. Bosman Asare is Director of Corporate Services of the Electoral Commission, is a Deputy Commissioner, I should say, in charge of Corporate Services, in that exclusive interview with my colleague Beatrice Edu, and you should catch a lot more of it on our social media handles, on YouTube as well, TV3 Ghana. It will be there for you to see, and also you find details of that on 3news.com. But it does appear that there's a lot more in terms of questions that the Electoral Commission will be seeking to answer a lot later this afternoon, because we get the indication that they will be addressing the media again this afternoon. Our cameras will be there, we'll be seeking to get the details and provide you the details as they come through, because Kemeni still, despite all of the back and forth about the argument about recollation, the Commission has made the point that they do not recognize the declarations made for Okaikwe Central, and not Okaikwe Central,
Dom
Kwabenya and then Ablekuma North.
Indeed.
And so we know yesterday they submitted a writ of elections to Parliament, which will help in preparations for the 9th Parliament. The expectation is that Dom Kwabenya and Ablekuma North will not be a part of that writ of elections.
Really very fascinating days to come, especially when originally in Dome Kwabenya, Faustina has been, announced winner. Likewise, in Ablekuma North, Rabna has also been announced winner. In the absence of any declared,
subsequent declarations. Because I think when they attempted on Saturday, the returning officer said they could not proceed because the remainder of the electoral results.
But there's still time, The Electoral Commission in the last few days has shown us that it can pull last-minute stance. Remember that on the day of the redeclaration on Saturday, there was no proper announcement even to the media that this was happening. And so I won't be surprised if,
an action is taken.
There is another swift last-minute effort to redeclare Ablekuma North and Dom Kwabenya.
Remains to be seen with that IPAC meeting as well postponed. We will keep our lenses sharp at the Electoral Commission and bring you details as and when. It's Christmas Eve. Yes. I believe a lot of you will still be shopping
on happy notes.
For
on
Christmas.
Happy notes.
You're excited.
I am excited for the end of the year, and for many reasons I can't share on TV.
Maybe after we get off, you share.
Yeah, but I'm sure you know why. It makes me very excited to stand here every day. That's our broadcast today.
Happy
Happy Christmas. I'm Kevin Yamano. Bye-bye.